Now, this is really hard to believe. And no, it's not the recent guilty plea from Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, for the charges against him of drunk driving and the minor slap on the wrist that the judge served down to him.
New details in Paul Pelosi's DUI hearing. Paul Pelosi has just pled guilty to one count. The other count was dismissed. He was sentenced to 5 days, and he served 2 days already, and he got 2 days for good behavior. That leaves 1 day left. But as I understand it, it will actually end up with no days in jail because they are written off as good behavior. He has to do this, though. There's an interlocking device on the car that he will have to use. He'll have to go to DUI classes. He'll have to pay a fine. We're not sure how much yet. Let me say that clearly, Kennedy. So he's sentenced to 5 days. He served 2. He got 2 for good behavior. And the final day, he will not have to go to jail because there will be a court work program for that last day. So no jail time. Seems like a very generous deal for Paul Pelosi.
Yeah, and also 2 days, he was straddling midnight. So that's why he got the 2 days. He was really only in custody for about 5 hours.
Right.
And then he made bail and left and probably got an earful from his very powerful spouse. It sounds like, a garden variety DUI ruling from the judge. I still want to know what's going to happen with the dash cam footage because this matter has now been wrapped up in the court. So we should see that.
And that dash cam footage is now available for viewing. And you can actually hear, there's a part in this video where Paul Pelosi asks the officer, "Do you know who I am?" This man could get away with murder, I bet. Am I understanding this right? Even Paul Pelosi's wife, Nancy Pelosi, even once said, "No one is above the law."
It must be held accountable. No one is above the law.
But I guess that only applies to certain people. This makes his insider trading activities look like child's play in comparison. And you'd think Nancy Pelosi would kick him to the curb for all the trouble that he's causing and gets caught for, while their son and her fly to Asia using government resources to close deals. Maybe she keeps him around just for that reason, so he can take the fall when push comes to shove. We will see, but honestly, what is hard to believe is that these uber wealthy, high-powered politicians get off with good behavior for felony offenses in drunk driving, DUI accidents that left another driver seriously injured, while a simple Amish farmer in Bird in Hand, Pennsylvania, is getting raked over the coals and financially ruined for trying to produce natural, organic, responsibly raised, chemical-free food on his own farm. What he says is the way God intended. Now, Tucker Carlson and Fox News shared a recent report and update about Amos Miller, the Amish farmer, and the U.S. Marshals Service raid of his organic and holistic farm. They demanded him to cease operations, slapped him with $300,000 worth of fines, which have basically crippled the man economically. And they demanded that his family stop food production because of the meat. Amos Miller remains persistent, and it has been reported that he refused because he wants to keep farming. Now, this is big government versus tiny organic farmer in Bird in Hand, Pennsylvania. So can you guess who's going to win that fight? Tucker Carlson said they are against anything that is wholesome and what can make you stronger and healthier. Can't say that I argue with him on that one. And many people believe that they are coming after an independent farmer who cuts out the middleman just to set an example. Think about it. He's proving that you can take power and leverage away from the government and giving it to the people. And they don't like that. He doesn't use gas and fertilizer on his farm. As you know, these input costs have increased considerably since Biden took office and continue to hurt the farming industry, crop yields, harvest, and overall food production. One of the more disturbing things was that many of the federal agents did not decline to go and continued to proceed with the raid of this Amish farmer's land and took inventory of Amos's farm to make sure he doesn't sell or produce any more meat. The Tucker Carlson interview stated, "I can't believe that this is real," with comments from this Fox News upload saying, "Many federal agents did not decline to go along. These people are cowards who put a paycheck before a clear conscience." As someone who grew up this way, never once did anyone get sick from eating meat or vegetables produced on these farms. Yet almost every day, massive amounts of meats or vegetables are recalled in the U.S. or people actually get sick. Amish farmers know far more about food safety than FBI agents. Rarely does one see such a clear definition of good versus evil than this case. It's almost hard to fathom just how depraved this administration is. And bypassing the middleman means that the government is missing out on some taxes. With the amount of massive spending this administration has done, they need to bring in as much cash as they can. That's why Joey hired 87,000 new IRS agents. Brandon's going to squeeze every dime he can out of you. Oh, and we're going to cover that in an upcoming video because I want to share with you some real world boots on the ground intel and life experiences that more and more people are saying the same thing. They're getting beat down by inflation, reductions in pay, rent increases, higher interest rates from the Fed, and they just want to get their heads above water, let alone get ahead. But they feel as though they can't. They're being disrespected and mistreated at work, but they don't have, or at least feel as though they don't have any other option, and they want to quit, but they say that they can't. Their employers, bosses, they pretty much have them right where they want them, and they're keeping them down and making them starve and suffer. And this is truly terrible to witness. The story I want to tell you about is, in particular, is of someone who works in a seasonal tourist-based business that is heavily dependent on weather, and their income comes 90% from tips. So you can imagine with tourism slowing to a stop here in Florida and the weeks and weeks of bad weather and high chances of rain and thunderstorms in the forecast, their income has been seriously diminished. Not to mention, they told me yesterday that they just got passed up for a promotion, and get this, they are now instead training their new regional manager to take their job. We are seriously in a mess and in trouble, folks. But for those of y'all who are interested, because this topic has been coming up more and more lately, I just want to follow up with some answers to some questions that I've been getting asked a lot more recently through emails and private direct messages. Now, if you want me to explain more on how you can start a side hustle, build your own small business that generates the much needed passive income, and do it all without large upfront cash, capital, or credit, just reach out to me. My contact information is in the description. And if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel, which I'm getting more requests about every single day, I can show you how and share with you some of the best ways to do it starting in 2022 and being prepared for the changes that YouTube is rolling out for 2023. So you can work with the algorithm instead of against it and start earning some much needed extra income. And let me just say this. It doesn't always come down to how many subscribers you have or how many views your videos get either. There are ways that I can show you how you can easily start earning some really good money on YouTube just starting out. And you can even do it without ever showing your face on camera if that's something that concerns you. So let's talk about that. My contact is below. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll be updated whenever I drop new videos. I have more updates coming soon. You guys take care. Be safe. Bye.